Minimum wage rate being reviewed to keep it relevant. PDRM must stay clean, safeguard country's peace, integrity. Good afternoon, happy Labour Day. Thanks for joining us and you're watching Updates at Noon. I'm Jessica Lee. The minimum wage rate is being reviewed to ensure the earnings of workers remain relevant with current economic conditions. Now, in his 2021 Workers' Day address today, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin said the government is always concerned about the issue of minimum wage and would take efforts to better protect workers' rights.
Saya berharap dan menyeru agar semua pihak yang ingin menyuarakan pendapat dan cadangan berkenaan isu ini mengambil bahagian dalam platform yang disediakan.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin said this was part of efforts taken by the government in the past 1 year under its three-pronged strategy to help workers weather the challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. The first strategy was to retain jobs, second was to protect workers' rights, and third was to create job opportunities. The Prime Minister also said that the government is currently in the midst of improving and amending labour laws, especially the Employment Act 1955, by expanding its scope of application.
Had gaji, memanjangkan cuti bersalin kepada 90 hari dan pemberian cuti paternity selama 3 hari. Menambah baik amalan kerja dan kehidupan yang lebih seimbang, work-life balance, melalui pengurangan waktu bekerja mingguan daripada 48 jam kepada 45 jam selain memperkenalkan aturan kerja fleksibel.
The Premier also touched on the government's effort to reduce unemployment, including the implementation of the National Job Matching and Employment Services Portal, My Future Jobs, One-Stop Centre Upskill Malaysia, and short-term employment program, My Step. The Premier also said in a bid to reduce dependence on foreign workers and increase the number of skilled workers in the country, the government, through the Skills Development Fund Corporation, would introduce the Convertible Loan Policy Program for skills training loan at the Malaysian Skills Advanced Diploma level. The Royal Malaysia Police must stay as the guarding force of the country's peace and integrity. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Abdul Hamid Badur expressed his hope that there will be no political interference as it will paint a negative image on the force. Tan Sri Abdul Hamid said in his 2 years heading the force, he had fought corruption and raised the integrity of PDRM.
Pedih rasa dalam hati saya ni apabila melihat seorang demi seorang anak buah saya dihadapkan ke mahkamah. Walau bagaimanapun bukan semua prospek masa depan PDRM ni kelam ataupun gelap gelita. Selama 2 tahun kebelakangan ini wujud tanda-tanda jelas meningkatnya integriti dengan ketara. Banyak kes-kes jenayah berprofil tinggi telah dapat diselesaikan.
In his last press conference as the Inspector General of Police, Tan Sri Abdul Hamid reminded police to be fair in carrying out their duties and expressed hope that his successor will continue the efforts to eradicate corrupt practices among police officers and personnel. Tan Sri Abdul Hamid is scheduled to complete his contract as the Inspector General of Police on Monday, and the post would be filled by Deputy Inspector General of Police Datuk Sri Akrosani Abdullah Sani. Meanwhile, Datuk Sri Akrosani said police personnel are urged to always update their standard operating procedures or SOPs as outlined by the government. Now, according to the Deputy Inspector General of Police, this is to avoid any future misunderstandings between the police and the public. Elaborating further, Datuk Sri Akro said both the public and police personnel must stay alert and keep abreast of the latest SOPs announced by the National Security Council MKN from time to time.
Saya percaya dan saya pun telah berikan arahan kepada semua PJPKP apa juga rungutan yang diterima yang berkaitan dengan pelaksanaan pengoperasian penguasaan SOP ini hendaklah diambil perhatian dan dilihat dan kita selidiki kalau betul ada berlaku kekurangan di pihak petugas polis kita akan ambil tindakan penambahbaikan. Ya. Kalau berlaku di kalangan orang ramai, kita akan berikan hembahan melalui press release.
Datuk Sri Akro added that public can channel their complaints directly to the state police chiefs for further action if the issues were not resolved at the district level. The DIGP said this during his visit to Dangwangi Police Headquarters. The National Security Council, MKN, has been actively conducting awareness campaign to increase public compliance to the SOPs. The Senior Minister for Security, Datuk Sri Semasa, said it is important to increase the awareness level among the public due to the concerning increase of COVID-19 cases of late.
Pemerkasaan komuniti iaitu tugas untuk menjaga kepentingan anak buah kita di bawah jagaan kita adalah tanggungjawab pemimpin komuniti itu sendiri. Jangan kita letakkan semuanya kepada pihak polis untuk menjaga komuniti di bawah kita. Sebagai pemimpin, kita yang patut menjaga dan mengingatkan komuniti di bawah kita. Jadi peranan daripada pemimpin atau kepimpinan masyarakat itu amat penting sekali bagi membantu pihak polis dan juga pihak kerajaan.
The senior minister said public compliance to its SOPs outlined by the government is on a satisfactory level. He said this during an interview on RTM's Bicara Narrative program in Angkasa Puri. On another matter, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri said the government has decided to enforce the Movement Control Order, or MCO, in 5 districts in Kedah for 2 weeks, effective today. The senior minister said the MCO would be implemented in Kota Star, Kuala Muda, Bandar Baru, Baling and Kulim due to rising infectivity involving several clusters which have contributed to a spike in COVID-19 cases in the 5 districts. In a statement, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri said during 14 days observation period until the 29th of April, the Ministry of Health, or MOH, confirmed that a total of 709 active cases were recorded in the 5 districts. The MCO is aimed at curbing the spread of the virus from high-risk areas to other areas considering the rising infectivity rate. Meanwhile, the senior minister said the government had also decided to implement the enhanced MCO or EMCO in Kampung Skim Kokos and Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan SMK Madai in Kunak, Sabah, as well as in Kampung Saga, Jalan Sungai Tengah Matang in Kuching, Sarawak, beginning today until the 14th of May. The decision came after the MOH confirmed a spike in COVID-19 cases in the past week. The EMCO at Sekolah Menengah Sains Machang, Kelantan had been extended until the 14th of May due to new cases being recorded and the high infectivity rate there. The senior minister also announced that the EMCO in 2 localities in Sarawak involving Taman Mesra Bakor Kuching and Kampung Tengah Betong, as well as 3 housing estates in Tawau, Sabah, namely Taman Hilltop, Taman Bukit Bintang and Taman Berkeley, ended today as scheduled. Smallholders who own idle land have been urged to venture into rubber cultivation and apply for grants under the Rubber Replanting Assistance Scheme to increase their income. The Rubber Industry Smallholders Development Authority, or RISDA chairman, Datuk Salim Sharif, said various incentives were provided, especially for smallholders, including replanting assistance worth 13,710 ringgit per hectare in the peninsula, 14,805 ringgit in Sarawak, and 14,955 ringgit in Sabah. Datuk Salim also said in expanding the scope of the rubber replanting assistance, more focus will be given under RISDA's Strategic Planning Model or MPSR 2021 to 2025 to strengthen latex prices, thereby helping smallholders. He urged smallholders to take the opportunity and apply for idle land or land other than rubber planting assistance, which would also help to support the industry's needs and not solely rely on scrap rubber production. Datuk Salim further explained that the efforts by RISDA were aimed at increasing the country's rubber production, which is mainly used, especially in the rubber gloves industry, for medical needs and other purposes. Coming up in sport, Kuala Lumpur stoutly hold back JDT from returning to winning streak. Now, Kedah Darul Aman or KDAFC player Muhammad Fazrul Daniel Muhammad Nizam was handed a 4-match suspension, including 1 automatic suspension, and fined 10,000 ringgit for being shown the red card during the Super League match against Terengganu FC or TFC on the 9th of April. FAM Disciplinary Committee Deputy Chairman Dato' Cik Mortaja Ali said Muhammad Fazrul, who has set out the clash against Perak FC, violated Article 51.1 subsection A of the Football Association of Malaysia's FAM Disciplinary Code after being found guilty of violent conduct by pushing a match official during the game at the Darul Aman Stadium in Alustar. At the same time, KDA FC defender Rodney Kelvin Akunsivi was suspended for 2 matches, including 1 automatic suspension against Perak FC after being flashed a red card against TFC on the 9th of April. Rodney is said to have violated Article 50.1 subsection D of the code, which is misconduct against an opponent or individual other than the match officials during the match. Meanwhile, TFC have been fined 20,000 ringgit for their team officials' inappropriate behaviour towards match officials during a Super League match against Sabah FC at the Lika Stadium in Kota Kinabalu in March. They are said to have violated Article 54B of the same code after being found guilty of threatening and harassing the match officials during and after the match until police had to intervene. The TFC officials have also been given a stern warning, and a heavier sentence will be meted out if they repeat the offence. At the same time, TFC team manager Zulfadli Rozi and team official Shukri Cik Zakaria were each fined 10,000 ringgit and 5,000 ringgit respectively for violating Article 59 of the same code, which is for non-sportsmanship behaviour in the same match. Zulfadli also received a 4-match suspension, while Muhammad Shukri was suspended for 2 matches, starting with tonight's Super League clash against Penang FC. Now, Kuala Lumpur City FC stoutly held back Johor Darul Takzim or JDT from returning to their winning streak with a 1-1 draw at Kuala Lumpur Football Stadium in Cheras in the Super League last night. Starting as the favourites, the Southern Tigers dominated the first half and almost took the lead, but a curling kick outside the penalty box by import player Gonzalo Gabriel Cabrera struck the goalpost in the 38th minute. Later, it was the turn of import player Romel Morales to cheer up the home fans when he easily pushed the ball into the JDT goal from a header by Muhammad Fakrul Aiman Sidit in the 3rd minute of injury time in the first half. In the second half, JDT did not wait too long to equalise the score through a header by team captain Haris Harun in the 55th minute from a corner kick by Muhammad Nazmi Faiz Mansour. The equal position remained until the final whistle, and both teams had to be contented with a point each. The draw is not a threat to the position of JDT, who remain at the top of the table with 24 points in 11 games, while KL City FC are in 7th spot with 13 points. At the Hang Jebat Stadium in Malacca, Kedah Darul Aman FC seized the second position in the league with 23 points from Terengganu FC, who currently have 21 points after crushing Malacca United FC 3-1 last night. Import player Kapar Sherman put the visitors ahead after converting a penalty in the 18th minute before Stefan Nikolic equalised the score also through a penalty in the 38th minute. The Red Eagles doubled the score moments into the second half by Sherman again in the 62nd minute before Badro Bakhtiar took it to 3-1 for Kedah to collect full points 4 minutes before the match ended. Now, with the loss, Malacca United FC stayed in the 8th spot in the standings with 10 points after playing 11 matches. Meanwhile, Terengganu FC or TFC will not make the mistake of underestimating Super League newcomers Penang FC despite playing on home ground later tonight. The Turtles coach Nafuzi Zain said he had reminded his charges to be wary of the Panthers, who he rates as one of the best teams this season. He said TFC must be cautious because playing on home ground doesn't guarantee them victory. However, Nafuzi added that they have prepared for the game the same way as they have done for other matches. Nafuzi was also happy to know that all his players are injury-free and said he would only decide on his starting 11 against Thomas Trucha's Penang side after today's final training session. Now, TFC still basking from being the first time this season to defeat 7-time Super League champions JDT 1-0 at the Sultan Ibrahim Stadium last Saturday, will take on the Panthers at the Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin Stadium in Gong Badak tonight. Today's edition of Updates at Noon. In our top story, government reviewing minimum wage rate to keep it relevant. Tune in to News at 10 coming up at 10 p.m. on saluran Berita RTM on My Free Views channel 123. Now you can also stream the news by surfing RTM Click. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Jessica Lee. Stay tuned to TV2.